Hey, what's up, guys? Little man with a big opinion here. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about uh, things you should consider while prepping um, with injuries, medical conditions, uh, and then not. It might not be the next video, but shortly after this, I'll talk about different things to consider while prepping as you get older. So, um, I don't think I'm going to talk much about prepping with diabetes because I've done a couple of videos about that because that's my big issue. Uh, but if you're thinking about other, medical diagnosis that you have, um, it's very similar to they say if you're prepared for natural disasters in your area, then you're generally prepared for several other things that pop up. Um, so some of the things overlap, and it's beneficial for different issues, but some of them are tailor made, like living on the Texas coast and dealing with hurricanes versus living in Utah and dealing with, more tornadoes and blizzards and stuff. Uh, so if you take any medication at all, um, most of the time in the United States, it is prescribed to you, um, and you've got anywhere from 1 to 2 years of your doctor saying yes, they need to take this prescription. Basically, they're gonna have you come in uh, hmm, every year. Sometimes it's every 6 months. Um, if it's something that they know isn't gonna go away, it can go upwards of 2 years. Basically saying yes, this is the medication you take, and the time gap is really only to confirm the dosage you're taking is correct. I guess I should also say that I'm not a doctor. I don't make myself out to be one. So this is just general knowledge, um, and some of the things we're going to talk about in this video. You should talk with your doctor as well because uh, they might be able to help you out like mine did. Uh, so the medication, first big thing, because people a lot of the times freak out because they don't know when their next dose could be, uh, and for some medicines it could be a slow decline, and for others it could be you know less than a week. Type 1 diabetics, for example, if they don't have insulin, it gets bad really quickly. uh, Whereas some people take blood thinners, and it could be weeks or months or even years after not taking it that major issues could arise. So, the first thing you need to do if you do take medications is talk with your doctor and see if you can get a um, larger prescription. Um, I take metformin, um, and my doctor lets me pick it up in 3 month increments. Typically, for most medications, you get it on a monthly basis because that's the extent of time that your um, insurance allows. So you might pay a little bit more, but metformin is a relatively cheap medication. and it was costing me, I think, like $11 to get a 3 month supply of it. Um, my doctor has also already said, um, you know, we can get you into remission with your type 2. Lose weight, exercise, eat healthier. And when I do check my blood sugar, if it's lower than a certain number, um, then he recommends not taking your metformin because it helps your body build up more, uh, or helps break down its insulin um, resistance. So the first time he gave me the 3 month prescription, I had 6 or 7, uh, extra doses. So out of a 90-day period, about 6 days were pretty good. The second time, it almost doubled, but I also dropped like 7 or 8 pounds. Um, it probably would have been more if it wasn't for the strength training. Uh, but going too far down the rabbit hole, if your medical diagnosis has the possibility of getting into remission, um, and one, that's not what your doctor's talking about, then I would seek advice from another doctor. Um, and I'm going to continue to use myself as an example. Another doctor that I saw, the first 3 months out of the hospital, he recommended an insulin pump. They said, you attach it, it lasts for about 2 weeks, it measures your blood sugar um, periodically, and just administers the dose to you. And he was like, you can continue to live the exact same way you live, you don't have to change anything. And that didn't sit well with me. Uh, so I went to a different doctor. Different doctor, in a polite way, said you're overweight, and if you drop weight by eating better foods and you know performing physical activities 3 to 5 times a week, you know this is what we can accomplish. So for certain medical issues, um, with a doctor's recommendation, they can put you on a path that could take weeks and months to achieve, or could take years. I know it's a long haul to get off of the medication that I'm on, but it's something that I want to do. Uh, if your diagnosis can't really go into remission, but you can lower the side effects by also doing the same thing, uh, then talk with the doctor and work out a strategy to make that happen. And then, if your diagnosis, it's stuck with you till the day you die, um, then you need to build up a supply of that medication. Uh, and you know, there are certain, I don't even know what you call it. I mean, they used to be called like medicine men and shaman and stuff. But people for thousands of years got their painkillers, you know, from a plant. Um, they got, wound cleaning stuff from the nature around them. And it's only been in the last, few hundred years that we've really, developed getting a, pill and a medication, or getting a multivitamin instead of consuming, an animal or a plant or a drink to get the, vitamins and minerals out of that thing. So it's one of those things that I know dandelion tea has, certain properties that it's got a decent amount of vitamins. It's got a mild amount of, you know, painkiller within it. But a doctor these days doesn't prescribe drinking dandelion tea. Um, Partially because, it's got such low levels of, you know, this painkiller. Uh, and, it's not 100%, you know, controlled experience or experiment, because one person's dandelion tea might be stronger than another person's, and it's based solely off of how they boil it. It could be based off of region and what's in theirs, uh, but that's one of the plants I know about. And so buying herbal medicine books, watching videos online. There are certain people that still continue to practice that sort of, um, I wouldn't say ancient medicine, but, pre-modern medicine. And it's good stuff to have because, in a SHTF situation, it might be the only access to medication that you have after, you know, your prescribed pills run out, uh, and things could go downhill pretty quickly. We didn't have Tylenol during the Revolutionary War, but they had ways of reducing pain, albeit some of them probably just involved you know consuming liquor and numbing it. But you know up until pre-medicine, people didn't get an injury that was so bad and they just brushed it off or lived through it. uh, so that being said, uh, key takeaways is, if you have any medication you have to take, talk with your doctor and see if you can get a higher prescription of it. It doesn't really help you if, let's say your doctor was able to give you a 1 year prescription of your medicine, and 3 days before you go to refill it, so you're down to 3 days worth, um, something happens that kind of sucks. Uh, but having more of your medication on hand is going to put you in a better situation. If your issues can be solved or lessened through diet and exercise, um, then try implementing those things and see if you can get off of the medication altogether. Um, and then, lastly, before our modern medicine, people were treating each other with, you know, different parts of plants and animals and how they concocted stuff together. And just because it's not the mainstream way of doing things anymore doesn't mean they don't work. Um, you know, I spent like 3 weeks with a suture kit, learning how to do sutures, just watching, you know, videos. I think John Hopkins put up a bunch on YouTube. Uh, and they put them there so that their nursing students and doctors have um, a visual aid outside of the classroom that they can practice with. But if medical services are nowhere around, um, they don't exist, they're too far away, um, and that's what needs to be done to potentially save someone's life, then those are risks that you take in, you know, crap hits the fan situations. Um, so a new skill that you can add to your prepping, you know, textbook is identifying plants that can have pain killing effects. You know, these ones are rich in these vitamins and minerals. These ones, if you mush them up into a paste, it's very similar to, um, you know, an antibiotic ointment. Aloe vera is, you know, good for sunscreens and mild burns. Uh, just something to think about. And with that, brings us to the end of the video. If you enjoy the content, like the video. If you enjoy what I'm doing with my channel, then subscribe. And then lastly, if you have a friend or family member uh, that would enjoy, benefit from our discussions in these videos, then share the video with them. And the second to lastly, if you have any decent, you know, home remedy books that you've got or that you've read before, uh, then post the title in the comment section down below. I'll take a look at it. I'll consider purchasing some of them. And let's get a discussion going. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one.